Morning, everybody. Michelle is here. Michelle is here on this Saturday, December the 16th, 2023. And the place to be, baby. Hope everybody's doing fantastic, magnificently, and marvelous because I am. Absolutely. Definitely. So, I put out a podcast earlier this morning, just kind of doing my thing, putting my sounds and tones out in the atmosphere, and it's about the building of a foundation and how it's so important to make sure the foundation is structurally sound, whether you're talking literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. I know a lot of people rush to get stuff put up, get things built and get a foundation going. And if you look at it literally, say for a house, for example, no wonder so many people are disappointed with new housing, especially I think it's after the 90s is when, quality was not considered. It was more so about quantity. And we can there's proof of that because I remember, a relative of mine, they bought a home and the home looked fantastic on the outside. But then when you went in the inside, they were finding troubling issues with the structure, the interior structure, and that's so unfortunate because, people riding by, looking at the outside, hint, and not realizing if you go inside, that's where you find some troubling things going on because, you can be in one room and you can hear all the conversations of people in other bedrooms in the house. So it was just structurally, there was some serious structural damage to that. And then it's next to impossible to resolve it unless you tear the house down and rebuild. You understand what I mean? And so what was so weird about it, and that's how it's just the secrecy of things, because someone had to have inspected these homes, because it's happening to millions of people, especially in new housing. Someone had to have been supposed to have been inspecting things. So that's why you cannot necessarily rely on the so-called authorities to make sure something is structurally sound, and that includes your internal when you talk on a metaphor and a figuratively level. In other words, you have to make sure that you are structurally sound within. Okay, and not rely on someone outside of you to make that determination for you, to consider you normal or not. Okay, no one has come forward to my knowledge, and I've asked this several times this year, what is considered normal? To me, it's no such thing. It doesn't exist, and it never did. Okay, there's no such thing as a normal human being. Okay, there's a developing human being, yes. But you're developing forever. Okay, that doesn't stop. So normal is, we, again, if you choose to, we're going to really have to work on what's valuable for us. And that starts with wording, that starts with sounds and tones. Okay, what is valuable to you? And so a lot of people are so courageous in certain, especially the creative types. Creative types are courageous, even though they suffer so much within because they feel the expectations of people, especially when they're successful. And then they got a lot of people following them and draining their energy. Predators and parasites and leeches. They love hanging around creative types so that they can take. And unfortunately, as a creative type, we do not like details. Some will come forward, especially I'm talking details outside of our creativity, is what I mean. So that's why so many of them end up broke. Some of them end up homeless on the street, with nothing. But unfortunately, during these times, it's not practical and it's dangerous to not be adequately supported. In other words, you need the basic elements. Okay, otherwise you're not going to survive. So There are a lot of drifters, as I also said as well, a lot of drifters that are creative types. And you can only get away with that for so long, though, in these times, due to our destruction of our climates. So back, so before our climate was uh, destroyed, basically, our climate was destroyed. You could live happily ever after, out in the grid of reality. In other words, there were plenty of trees, and if you were resourceful enough, you could take care of yourself. Well, as we know, that no longer exists. We've chopped, we've plowed down trees. We disturbed the flora and fauna to a point of no longer existing. I'm looking outside at the palm trees. I'm telling you, the palm trees are done. I know a lot of people are going to debate that, but I can tell the palm trees are done. They've had it. And, they're struggling to survive just like all the rest of the flowers and trees. And I can see the exhaustion. That's all I'm saying. I can sense and receive it. Hey, to each his own. Consider it. Nature does assist in our evolution, by the way, whether you want to accept that or not. I told you, this planet can do. This planet is in the course of correction. Planet Earth is in the course of correction, and planet Earth can't exist without humans. Keep that in mind. Planet Earth was created trillions of years ago without humans. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. And it flourished. There was no problem with the planet Earth flourishing. Okay, and the flora and the fauna and the animals were a gift to us. They were a gift to us to help us in our evolution, and we missed it as we always do. I put out a video, I think last year, about how there were advanced human beings, more so advanced over us, that were coming forward, wanted to come forward. And I think it was around the 2000s or the 90s or something, because there was a codex that ended in 1998. There was a codex. And don't be so concerned about that. I'll go into that at a later date. But it ended in 98. And so there was supposed to be, and a lot of people were awaiting the year 2000 for other reasons other than something that could have been extremely positive for us. But because I think Beam stepped in. I'm not sure who stepped in and made it clear to the advanced humans that were attempting to help us. Because he knew how we think, and he knew that we were nothing but liars and fraud in so many levels. In other words, we didn't realize, and we still don't. We don't realize that our words and our thoughts were always in constant contradiction, but because our thoughts are energy, anyone that is advanced enough can pick up our energy and know our intentions and know our purpose. That's why I say you need to know what your intentions are, what your purpose are. Okay, and do not attempt to fool your consciousness by thinking if you just spout out a bunch of bullshit out of your mouth, that it's not going to be picked up via the energy of your thoughts. Okay, a lot of people are playing around with that and playing dangerous games with that, believing that they can surpass or interrupt that flow. Okay, that's the immaturity I told you that I can pick up. And anybody else that is experienced enough can pick up the bullshit that people are regurgitating out of their mouths. Okay, there's a contradiction between how we think and what we say, because it shows it in our behaviors and actions usually. Okay, but there are some people that are advanced enough that they can pick it up right away. Okay, so and I put out videos as well, missed opportunities. We've missed opportunities. where there were a group of advanced human beings that were going to assist us. Okay, I think this is the second time this was planned to happen. In the beginning, there was a certain level of advanced ones in the 70s that came through. They were turned down supposedly by our military. The ones with the Lego equipment. When you compare it to advanced civilizations and advanced humans, okay, our military is like Lego sets to theirs, and then we playing around with nuclear weapons, thinking that they're like it's a toy. We treat everything as toys and weapons anyway. But anyway, so I think it was around 2000 that we were expecting some visitors. But like I said, I think it was Beam and his associates, made it clear. So it was a lesson. That was a lesson because it would have been devastating. Okay, because then shortly thereafter, that's when the Iraq War started. If I'm not mistaken, let me see what year it was. The Iraq War. Let me see when that was. Yes. Okay, so something's supposed to have happened in 2000-ish, but someone stepped in and said, that would have been devastating. It would have been a catastrophic event. And as a matter of fact, I think I even said it on a video last year. I remember having a dream about that, and in the dream it said catastrophe now or something. I can't remember, but there's a video on it. So my point is this: we missed a whole lot of opportunities, and if this encounter would have happened, like I said, it would have been catastrophic for all of us, because again, we are not aware enough and concentrating enough to realize that everything's energy, and someone advanced enough can pick it up. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of people are that way now. They cannot pick up the contradictions in our thoughts versus our what will come out of our mouths. But if you're paying attention, you can pick it up in the behaviors and actions and the results. All I'm saying is it's going to come to a point, and a lot of people are like dismissing that. I know, where you're going to either have to put up or shut up, because now, that's why I told you, challenge your beliefs, because your beliefs are going to be your reality otherwise, and that's going to be catastrophic as well. Okay, it's going to be catastrophic to your consciousness, because you're going to go in complete insanity when you realize you're following a ghost, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. You're following ghost, something that necessarily doesn't exist. Okay, so it's just nice to have confirmation of things that I've said. There's not like it's just when you use reason and you're being logical and rational, you will get to the truth. You will get to the bottom of it, one way or another. And you can't believe you have all the time in the world. I know a lot of people say that, take your time. I'm saying, no, don't do it, especially when you know that there's something more tapping on your shoulder, attempting to get your attention. So let me just say this. I follow a lot of people, which means nothing really. I'm just following, just picking up the rhythm. I follow a lot of entertainers, influencers, these high profile type people. I follow you because, hey, I'm curious. I want to know what the hell is going on. And I also am doing that for my young people. Okay, I want to know what's going on with them. I'm doing this for like my toddler. When I think about the eyes of some of the toddlers that are my relatives, and I look in their eyes, and I know they expect us, to take care of them and provide them with the nutrients and the knowledge and all all the diversities of not learning and diversities of life to, to be able to, so we can pass that baton to them, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. Okay, so we had so many missed opportunities, and we had, as adults, we have so much responsibility and accountability to our descendants and our children. And I'm telling you, we failed, and so collectively we failed. We failed them. So now they're gonna come along, and attempt to pick up the pieces, but all they're gonna be able to do is put band-aids on things, and always seeking shelter, or always being in a sense of emergency or a state of emergency. It's going to be one catastrophe after another. Okay? So we have a responsibility for not only passing the baton to our lineage, meaning our future personalities, via becoming and passing, we also have a responsibility of passing the baton to our ancestries, okay, to our children, our descendants, to this planet. A lot of us have dropped the ball, however. We've dropped the ball. So it's beautiful outside here, on my side of town. And I'm sure it's beautiful everywhere. Keep in mind, I told you the formation of the clouds means something, even though there's a lot of interference, you can tell. But at the same time, the universe is evolving and moving on, and that's the beauty of it all. So if you can't see outside this solar system, then you're missing out. And I'm not saying see outside it literally, but figuratively and metaphorically. And know, come on now, that's almost logical to know that something exists outside of me. Okay, it's illogical to think that we are it. Okay, that would cause most people. I think if people really believe that, okay, they would blow their brains out. Okay. But sometimes your consciousness protects you from all of that rambling that comes out of a lot of mouths of people. But yes, there's always beauty, within and without, and you have to neutralize it in that fashion, and not make one better over the other. Be lost in your fantasies and be lost in your imagination without realizing. Even though it's beautiful, I love fantasizing. Trust me, I love it. And I love how my imagination, supports that. But then I also know I got to do what I got to do. I got to, I'm attempting to build something. There's responsibilities, there's accountabilities. I need to make sure I'm provided for. I make sure I'm not a burden to anyone, which has not ever happened, and it will not. I'm not going to allow that. I need to be able to stand on my own 2 feet, whether I'm in a relationship or not. Okay, that's so important, and people need to consider that. Do not make it where it is this battle of this type of unnatural force of, what you expect from one, what you expect from this, and make sure you're talking together to know what you're expecting from not only the individual, but as a couple. Or, as a group, some people are into the group thing. Hey, if you're consenting and not forced into that. So anyway, there was a post out where this person, see, like I said, I follow everybody. It doesn't mean that I am eating up anything you're saying, or I'm convinced that you're telling the truth about anything. That's not my responsibility to force people to tell the truth. You're going to be responsible for that. So that's why I say we should not be bothered by people giving their opinions and their theories and opinions, because we're at a culmination now where if you're not telling the truth, you're going to be exposed anyway. Okay? You cannot fool your consciousness. So when this event was supposed to happen, I think it was around 2000, someone stepped in, I think it was Beam and his associates, and said, look, you hadn't discerned these people properly. These people will lie at the drop of a dime. And that was so true. Even though we say, okay, we want peace. I want peace. I want peace. That's anything but true, especially from those in the pyramid who are supposed to be protecting and serving us. We've given them too much power, and it's going to take millennia, unfortunately, to unravel it properly, to where it will be dissolved forever and not reappear. Okay, for some, people are rolling themselves back, like I said, in their consciousness to a prehistoric living. Okay, because that's what their thoughts are producing and cultivating from them. And then there are some who are going to roll forward and advance themselves properly because they put in the work to evolve their consciousness. Okay, and then in 3999, there's an event that's supposed to happen during 3999. And I'll talk about that later, over the course of time. So there's a lot riding on evolving your consciousness and getting out of your beliefs and getting out of your faith and just suspend it. Suspend your ego and consider things. And get yourself out of this celestial expectation of that somebody's going to, I don't know how they're getting here, because every time I ask someone, okay, when are these people coming? Yeah. And I'm not doing that to cause harm. I just want you to think about what you're saying. Okay, like I said, only people that are going to help us on this planet are other human beings. They're not going to be celestial. They're not going to be angels, these holograms. But you know what? There's a lot of people working into the hologram delusion, hallucination, playground. In other words, there are people working on such technology to convince you again, as people were convinced thousands of years ago, that somebody is going to be floating from the sky. And, stand there and do what? I don't know. And save us? I don't know. It happened. That's how we got manipulated in the first place. And then that's when religion and all that other stuff started happening. But I'm not going to get into that because I know that brings people a lot of anxiety and more so anger. Okay, because I'm interfering with their fantasies and I'm interfering with their delusions. Okay, they don't want to hear that that's a fantasy and a delusion. Okay, because they're already far gone. And at an end time, when this planet is wobbled enough, remember someone put out about a wobbling planet. Let me see if I can find that. That's literal also. Not only figuratively, metaphorically. A wobble, I think they say. Wobble planet, I think. Let me look it up. There was that term, I think I saw that term somewhere, Dobular. And they were, it says planet Earth wobbles as it spins. Well, that's literally true, figuratively and metaphorically as well. So there's a reason for the wobbling planet, okay? Has something to do with the mass of our planet, humans, equipment, toys. Okay, we have pole shifts. We have all kind of phenomena happening, and we have scientists who attempt to explain it. Some do it out of a genuine research, but some of them are just wanting to be more than they are and think that they know it all and give answers to why certain phenomena are happening, because there is no one can model what Earth is doing. Nowhere in this universe. There are no models for it. Therefore, there are going to be some unknowns and some uncertainties, unfortunately. And I'm telling you, some of the unfortunate uncertainties are going to be devastating. Okay? So there's something going on, as I said, about the gravitational pull. Like I said, we say what goes up, what goes up must come down. Okay, okay. So why did the apple fall from the tree? That's just something to consider. You don't have to, like I said, you don't have to tell me shit. I don't need to. You don't really need to explain that to me. If you're working in the background as a scientist, you need to, those are your field of expertise, I should say. I'm just giving out information and thinking and contemplating, contemplating, and asking questions, which do get answered, by the way, and I appreciate that. Just to help me along, help us all along, actually. So, but anyway, let me just say this. There was this like I said, I follow everybody, I listen to everybody. I'm not riding your coattails or jumping on your bandwagons. I'm just curious. As someone that's self-educating myself, I'm curious as to what people are saying, what people are doing, why they're doing this, why they're doing that. So there's a lot of people that put out beautiful posts. They seem to balance properly. They seem to have a great flow and a great energy. And then I always, if I like what I'm reading, because when I read something, I put my perception to what I'm reading, and it feels good to my ears and how I sense and receive it. Now, I don't know what the intention of the person that put it out. I don't know what their intentions were, but like I said, it's more important for you to know your intentions and purposes. You don't necessarily have to share it, but you need to make sure it's accurate, and that you're not attempting to fool your consciousness. So a lot of people speak in poetic. I sense a poetic rhythm, balance, and a flow to it. And then, if it sounds good to me, as I'm reading it and I'm hearing it in my innermost, and it feels good to me, I'm going to like it. And I find a lot of that from the creators, the creative types, the genuine creative types. So yes, there are some out there that keep throwing around this word chosen, which I do not. That's not anything that I support necessarily. Okay, I'm no more chosen than you, and you're no more chosen than the billions of other people on this planet. No one's particularly chosen. Okay, that's an indoctrination, in which I'll go into that at a later time. When you say you're chosen, that means you're somehow higher than everybody else. It's no different than certain heroes, certain prophets, certain religious figures, certain political figures, certain entertainers, certain, some people really just feel as though they are just all powerful and all knowledgeable, which is a bunch of bullshit, and it's laughable to me. Because, I'm not laughing, but at some point, all of that's going to collapse. Okay, and usually those that are in that kind of, it's a pyramid style of hierarchical thinking, where they are just a perfect specimen of a human being, but they can barely wipe their ass properly. Okay, sometimes they look grotesque. I'm going to be real honest with you. Okay, their features are grotesque to me. But anyway, so there's a lot of pretending out there. I know that. There's a lot of facades out there. I know that. False personalities. I know that. People reading palms. Somehow they are. They can revisit past lives. Okay. They they know the future. Okay. Hey. Okay. But because for me, I know better. But at some point, those of you that are participating in that type of behavior are going to be required, as we're reaching our culmination, to either support it with results, or it's going to be irrelevant, because there was a post out, and it was beautifully in a rhythm flow based on how I read it. Like I said, I don't know the intentions of the writer or the one posted it. And then someone came through and said, this person is stealing, and that these are not their words. So a lot of people are using AI technology to recreate and spin out material that belongs to an individual. And they're under the illusion is because this individual is somewhat unknown. They're not getting as many followers. They don't have as many likes. They don't have as many quote unquote views. But they don't understand the energy either. Okay, the energy of your thoughts are going to put you where you need to be. And if you worked on yourself, you're going to be where you want to be. Okay, the energy of your sounds and tones will resonate and strike the appropriate human beings or human being. Okay, the size and the number is irrelevant to the quality. Okay, what's the quality of what you're putting out? Are you just spinning and regurgitating other people's quotes? In other words, putting somebody else's quote into a spin machine, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically, and spouting out their words, but you claim they're your words. Okay, when it comes to quotes of genuine human beings, I don't know what they were thinking either. I don't know their intentions. A lot of them have passed away. I take in some of their, it's just like knowledge. You take in the knowledge of those that are willingly putting it out. I bring it into me. You bring knowledge into you. You cultivate it, contemplate it, use all of your sensing. Is it logical, rational, and reasonable? And see if you can churn out something that's you, that's about your words, your sounds and tones. Okay, our teachers are our guides. Okay, we don't need to be running around attempting to surpass their knowledge, because a lot of people are doing that too. They want to be more than the teacher. They want to know more than the teacher. And so it's nothing wrong with recreating your own, because that's what you're supposed to do. But you do it out of what you can handle and not attempting to prove anything to anyone. Okay, prove your knowledge to anyone. That's childish, and that's how I know when people are immature and unexperienced when they do that. So basically what this person is saying is that, and I know that too. I know most people are not what they seem. But because I don't know them personally, it's really irrelevant for me to be concerned about it. All I need to know is make sure my innermost being is being handled properly, and I'm taking responsibility and accountability for myself. But I have no problem reading someone's post, and if it flows well, it sounds good. I don't know the person that put it out in most cases. I'm gonna like it. If I like it, I like it. But yes, people are stealing. Most people are stealing from creative types. They got the technology. They've had the technology even before AI. I told you. People had this technology where they knew what you were searching for. Okay, they knew what you wanted. And so somehow overnight, they became experts in that. And the wellness community are the ones that are abusing that the most. That's where let's start back. Inside the wellness and the health, the self-help, that's where the abuse was acute. More so than anything, because most of it was didn't have to be proven. All you had to do is convince somebody, indoctrinate them, manipulate them. That is true, and then people will go along and say, "Oh, okay," without even considering if it's true or not. So that's how the wellness communities were able to. That's why you see some coming back. They've been around for 20, 30, 40 years. Because they know how to manipulate. They know how to manipulate with their hands. They use this type of technology. Oh, God. What's it called? Because even, high-level governments use it as well. Where they are indoctrinating you and having you believe that certain things. Yeah, it's like a sensing. In other words, they take advantage of your sensing abilities. That's how they were able to, convince people that they were on the moon when they weren't, that kind of thing, which is very dangerous. Mind control. So that's why so many people in the pyramid, whether they're military or otherwise, who knows where they are, they're hidden hands. Let's just say that. They're so, they're so excited in a degenerate deviant way, because they know that they can mind control people. If the person is not necessarily conscious of that being happening, we can easily get immersed in this technology to where, you say, okay, I'm gonna play a video game for about 30 minutes, and then you have been sitting there for almost 30 hours playing a video game. Okay, and that's how they know that's how they know their technology works. That's why they stay in AI. They want us all on the computers. That's my point. Okay, they want us immersed in the computer experience and get us away from human experiences. That's the whole idea. Get you immersed in that. Get you immersed in, these so-called quote unquote blockbuster movies, because they know if they can get into your sensing, what you see, there are a lot of clever people out there. Okay, and they've been playing these kind of games, and they usually have consulted with psychiatry, philosophers. They've enlisted the services of those type of minds, so they can take over your mind. It's all about your thoughts, and it's all about your mind. They don't understand that the thoughts and the energy of the thoughts is what regulates our mind. Okay, without the energy of our thoughts, our mind is just empty shell. And so that's why when they're looking at the brains of dead people, it's almost comical when they are attempting to find something there. Okay, the main component of it, once you die, it disappears. It takes off. It takes away. They're not going to ever be able to capture the energy of who you are. No human being will ever be able to do that. But they're going to attempt, and they're going to continue. So they're into this research and these kind of remote viewing, these type of psychological things, clairvoyance, that kind of thing. Believe it or not, there are certain hidden hands are investing billions into that, billions upon billions. Okay, the paranormal, the psychic abilities. Okay, and it's pseudoscience. So that's why so many people are attached to astrology, extrasensory perception. Okay, they call it demonic possessions. A lot of people are into that. Psychic readings. Okay, and they've kind of infused it together with actual so-called creational energy, and it does cause this confusion, and that was intentional as well, because a lot of people just don't understand it. They don't think it's just, a lot of people don't think they're doing harm when they are attempting to capture your brain and not realizing there's some creational energy there that they cannot touch. Okay, telepathic, the UFO. A lot of that is energy that you cannot necessarily see. And that's why I say to some people, that's why I'm saying I don't care how old you are. There's a lot of immaturity and underdevelopment in a lot of adults, where they have this childlike perception and these childlike expectations of how powerful and wonderful they are, that if I can't see it, then it doesn't exist, basically is what they're saying. If they don't see it, it doesn't exist. And so they think they are powerful because they can say that. And they think because they have all this materialism, it supports it. Or because they can steal land from people that may have tax liens on their homes or foreclosures. A lot of people love that because all they're doing is they're lurking, like I said, predators and parasites, looking for someone to and it's usually creatives. That's the point I'm making. That's why I'm saying this. They know creatives do not like to stay in details about financing and this and that and the other. They want to focus on their creative artistry in whatever form it is. They put a lot of trust in people, especially in their family members, by the way, or their loved ones, their partners, or whatever, to take care of all of that. and it's dangerous to do so, unfortunately. You have to, even though I hate details, I need to know what the details include. And I know what I'm doing, but I'm still going to need help from other people to help me get through this. But I know what I'm doing and what I'm hoping to. I know what my purpose and my intentions are. Okay, magical. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be really, really upset when they realize that they have done nothing but had magical delusions that they thought were true for decades upon decades upon decades. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to share that what prompted me, like I said, is when I saw that text, saw a post or text where someone was responding and saying, this person's stealing. Yes, I know people are stealing. I know people are using AI to steal creativity. They're scaling the universe, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically, to steal people's ideas and steal people's thoughts. It's more so that it's what they want. That's why they do. That's why they're investing in remote viewing, clairvoyancy, this paranormal abilities. You have these people on television claiming to be clairvoyants, that they can talk to dead. Okay, that's dangerous. I'm just making that very clear. You're playing mind games, and that stuff is going to come back and haunt you, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically, where you're going to lose your motherfucking minds. How about that? Okay, wishful thinking. There's a proper way to have wishful thinking, but most of what we're dealing with is fraud. Nobody is talking to the dead. That ought to be clear and effective, because if pay attention to that. Okay, when people attempt to line you up instead of allowing you to be aligned up. I'm aligned up. Nobody's going to be lining me up with anybody. I'm aligned up, and that's where we ought to be. So my path is, clear. There's going to be obstruction, of course. There's going to be negativity, of course. Okay, there's going to be unwanted experiences, of course. Okay, this is a lifelong event. Okay, and so at some point, the weak will be separated from the strong. Okay, and it's going to be in the form of consciousness damage, where people will not be reached. Okay, they will not be reached. They're going to roll themselves back, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically, to prehistoric times. Okay? All right, so that's enough for today. Of course, I'm going to say more. Help as many as I can, help you along your journey, help you be aligned in your path, and bring some joy and enthusiasm to it, because it's so joyful. It's so enthusiastic to know you are aligned up properly based on my work on my innermost being. And so I have a little bit more certainty over uncertainty. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and send peace and love right now over the stars and moon and mountains. And trust me, I'll be back.